All right, welcome back to Stories from the River. I'm your host, Charlie Malouf, President and CEO of Broad River Retail. I'm glad to be back again. Hey, today I thought I might tell the story of the Ashley Outlet concept.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
This has really become a growth strategy for us now, part of a growth strategy. I had a previous episode where we talked about our growth, healthy things grow, and our growth strategies. And so new concepts in current markets is growth strategy number 3. Currently today, we're only activating the Ashley Outlet concept. By way of example, there could be other retail concepts in new concepts in current markets as we're looking to grow our market share, hit our market share goals, and create throughput through our distribution centers and sell more products, sell more furniture, sell more mattresses. By way of example, there could be Ashley outdoor stores. They don't exist today. I want to be clear. Those don't exist today, but we believe in really taking a long-term view and a vision. And we know that as we continue to grow our company, grow our people, we're going to have to create more avenues for growth for leaders and more throughput, more retail concepts. And it will give us a chance to extend our brand. And so by way of example, and we'll be experimental and we'll test and we'll innovate. So by way of example, there could be Ashley outdoor stores, Ashley kids stores, Ashley laid back, which is like Ashley motion and maybe customization stores, a lot of different options that we have. But right now, the current concept is Ashley Outlet. Okay, so what is our history with Ashley Outlet? It's really morphed over the years. Our first Ashley Outlet store was not really sanctioned. I think it was a clearance center in about 10,000 square feet in Matthews, next to or in the same shopping center as our original Matthews store, which is actually now Elevation Church. They've taken over that shopping center. But there used to be a Ashley store, Sofa Express back in the day, and there used to be an Ashley Furniture Home store. And originally it had our distribution center for the Charlotte market there, and then we outgrew it and converted that to our corporate office. And then there was like a restaurant, and then a consignment store and a Sofa Express store. And at the far end, we had like 10,000 square feet. So we opened up a clearance store to help us flow our clearance goods. Actually, I should take a step back. It actually began in the back of our Matthews store where our former call center was. So again, how things grow. We grew it in the back of a call center. We transformed that to clearance center space for our Matthews shoppers. And we moved it. And then we said, okay, unfortunately, we had too much clearance product at the time, so we went and got a standalone site in a retail corridor in South Boulevard, and we moved there in February 2013, and it was just purely clearance. And we're still in that location today, and we've been in that location now for over 10 and a half years or so. And for the first 3+ years, it was just clearance goods. In 26, we've had a couple of rebirths in that location. In 26, and this is important to the Ashley Outlet story. In 2016, we said, you know what, we don't have the need for as much clearance. We're shrinking our clearance needs because we're operating better and we're having fewer returns and that sort of thing. And so we said, what if we made this store more profitable by using a different assortment of new goods with the clearance goods? So we just kind of drew a line in the sand, if you will, and had the clearance in the back and then the new goods in the front. And they could still order just like they would if they're shopping in one of our regular stores. It just might be a different assortment. And so we did a whole grand reopening in August 2016 on this whole rebirth, and we were really happy with it, and it improved sales and it did better. And then we said in 2018, through renewing the lease, and we said we're gonna like really elevate the space, and we want to like go into polished concrete, and because this carpet's getting really old, we want to do some different things with the walls and the paint. And we'd gotten into doing some renovations and refreshes in our other stores that had really, really worked. And we said, what if we could do that with our Ashley Outlet concept and make it a little bit more inviting and exciting, and even have a mattress gallery and even further shrink the clearance space. And so we did that in August of 2018, and a really interesting thing happened. Sales took off when we elevated the environment in that store. We actually had a group of, we actually had Ron Wanick come and visit it and gave him a presentation and a playbook for what we had created. And this really became kind of our blue ocean strategy, if you will. And sales just took off. I want to say like 55% above their trending baseline. You can't do that just ordinarily in retail. Like to have a 55% lift in sales from just like remodeling the store or making it look better, it was really remarkable. And so this was like our aha moment. Wait a second, we've got something here. Just because it's called an outlet doesn't mean it has to like look danky or dark or be a sub environment. All customers deserve an elevated experience and a premier shopping experience. That was our kind of our aha moment. So let's invest in the experience, and which we did. We put several $100,000 into it and really raised the game, raised the stakes, and it paid off. We got the return on investment, but it really paid off more than that, because as that store began to kind of reset the bar of what our expectations were and the art of the, not the art of the possible, but as we like to say at Broad River Retail, the art of the actual for what we could actually do. We then began to say, well, where else can we put outlets? And so a box had become available in Matthews, North Carolina, where we had exited that market. We had consolidated that market down in 2016, I believe it was, or 2016 or 2017. We had closed the original Matthews store, and we said, we know we've got a customer base there, and we said, I don't know, that box feels too small, but it's on a heavily trafficked corridor. There's 50, 60,000 cars a day that drive by. And it was a former rug store. We said, well, let's go look at it. And we went and looked at it. It's 15,000 square feet. And we're like, it doesn't feel small. It actually feels like a loft, like it's got a lot of room here. And we said, we think we can convert this pretty easily. So we ended up buying the space and moved quickly and converted it to another Ashley outlet. Did remarkably well its first year out the gates. And we said, where else can we put outlets? Because they don't really, it's a different customer base. It's a different assortment. It's a different pricing model. It's a different advertising strategy. It's a different way to segment the customer base as we're trying to get more sophisticated as how we kind of go to market, our go-to-market strategy. And this, again, being our blue ocean strategy, and again, pegging to our market share goals and our throughput goals, and growth strategy number 3, which is new concepts in current stores. So all these things are in play. We said, okay, well, where else can we put outlets? And we said, what if every market could have an outlet? So we went into Raleigh and we said, you know what? We really like Glenwood Avenue. We've got a store on Glenwood Avenue, but what if we could, our Ashley outlet on South Boulevard was about 6.5 miles away from our number 1 store in Pineville. Matthews store is about 13 miles away from either the University store or the Pineville store, midway in between. And we said, well, okay, we might be a little bit closer, but is there something available? Then our partner, Dale Hall, our real estate broker, found a space that's with a landlord we'd worked with in the past, Kimco, and we went into a shopping center there and got the right space that they're putting money into it to revamp it. So it's only like 2.2 miles away from our regular store. We opened up an outlet, and it's doing phenomenally well in Raleigh. So we got another. And it has not impacted our Ashley store. It's 2 different customers. Some our customers, are starting over. Maybe they're in college. They have smaller spaces. They need pieces or specific items as opposed to rooms. And so this space was really unique because it's got 2 entrances, one for the Ashley outlet and one for the mattress gallery. And we actually opened it in January 2020 and grand opened it in March of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. But it's done really well in spite of the pandemic and everything else. So that was our third outlet, freestanding outlet. And I'll get into why I'm saying freestanding. And so then we eventually would go into the Columbia, South Carolina market and open up another freestanding outlet to complement our 2 Ashley stores in Columbia and Northeast Columbia. So we've got one off I-77 across from Fort Jackson in what we call East Columbia. So we've got 4 freestanding outlets. But then we've also had another aha moment. We said, what if we could transform our larger boxes when we're doing a renovation when we're going to get a new lease with a bigger space than the previous store had, and take this outlet assortment where it might be a market where we might not have a standalone outlet or a freestanding outlet. And what if we could put the outlet concept that's successful and growing for us side by side or inset within a larger box? And so we've begun to do that, and it's worked out really well for us. So if you go into our University City store in Charlotte, we transformed that space. It's like for over 46,000 square feet with the Ashley store and expanded mattress gallery that also connects to an Ashley outlet in the back. And you're always going to find customers in the Ashley outlet. They get a lot of traffic. That's one thing that all retailers want is more traffic. Well, let me tell you, outlets get a lot of traffic, whether they're a standalone store or the department within a store. They help bring traffic to the store, especially if you have signage, especially if you call it Ashley store and outlet. All that kind of helps. And then also we've now in a brand new store in Salisbury, you would have heard on a previous episode, we have an outlet as a store within a store in Salisbury. It's a 46,000 square foot box with an expanded mattress gallery that connects to an Ashley outlet. We've gone into a couple former Toys R Us boxes, one in Spartanburg, and that was 45,000 square feet, where it was previously a 36,000 square foot store. And it's a 2-in-1 store, or like what we call a dual concept store with an Ashley store and an Ashley outlet in the back. Same thing in Anderson, where we doubled our square footage. We went from a 24,000 square foot store, and kind of Anderson's a smaller town, similar to Spartanburg, into a former Toys R Us store right off Clemson Boulevard, 46,000 square feet that could afford, the standard assortment for an Ashley store, and then got an Ashley outlet in the back. So we've got more ways to say yes to the guest, more ways to grow our market share, more square footage to show to the customers, product to the customers. And now we don't just have to have our better and best assortment. We can have our all of our lines, our good, better, best. And with the outlet customer, you have a lot of take with items that you get that immediate gratification, because it might be a box mattress, which you can weaponize your store and put those in the stores and let the customer walk right out there with them. And also we did a unique concept in Augusta where we had moved from a 40,000 square foot box to across from the Augusta Regional Mall to a 47,000 plus square foot box, former Kroger grocery store. I think our first former Kroger grocery store or former grocery store that we went into. And the box was so big, but we transitioned it to a 2 entrances, Ashley store and then the Ashley outlet. And then the Ashley outlet goes back into, you can go straight on into the mattress gallery, a very expansive mattress gallery. And it works really well. It's a side-by-side. You get a ton of signage, and you've got something for everyone. So whether you're an Ashley outlet customer or an Ashley store customer, however you kind of classify your needs are, we've got something for everyone. We've studied other retailers who have complementary brands to the main brand that might draft off the main brand or might segment their customer, or different ways to say yes to the customer. And our outlets now primarily just sell new goods. We also have a couple others in the East. We have in Wilson, North Carolina, we got a box that was a large box, and we converted warehouse. They had 8,000 square foot it was a former Heilig Myers and it was a former Furniture Liquidators, and we converted it to an Ashley store. But we had this 8,000 square feet warehouse, and we didn't need all of it. So we said, hey, the best thing we can do here is convert it to most of this warehouse to an Ashley outlet and upgrade the lighting and the flooring and everything else and the paint. And it's worked out well. So now Wilson, which is a small town market where we wouldn't have 2 stores, has more ways to say yes to the guest. And then in our what we call the Rock, our distribution center and store and call center concept off of I-95 in Southeast Raleigh, we have our Ashley store. And we also it's connected to our distribution center. So as we have returns or exchanges, we might have some clearance product or floor samples. So a little bit of clearance, but then we also have an Ashley outlet. So we have another 2-in-1 store in the Rock in 4 Oaks, North Carolina. So we've got several ways to have Ashley outlets. We really believe in the 2-in-1 stores, the dual concept stores, when they make sense. When it's a small market where you might not have 2 stores, where you have excess square footage and it's or where you have excess warehouse space, it's a way to convert that space to a outlet, and just more ways to say yes to the guests. We like having freestanding stores and freestanding outlet stores, so we're still looking for more of those. And we'd love to have the expanded box with more a way to strategically position that box, and where you may go from a 30,000 square foot box to a 45,000 square foot box and have it perfectly assorted for today's customers and what we're looking for. So we've seen a lot of success, which began as a small clearance center in the back of next to a call center in their original old Matthew store, to a 10,000 square foot clearance center, to a 26,000 square foot standalone clearance center, to now what is a dynamic growth avenue, blue ocean strategy for the company. New concepts in current markets, growth strategy number 3, which is helping us go after our market share goals. And look, healthy things grow. We got to find ways and avenues to grow. We got to challenge ourselves to get throughput, to grow our market share. You need to know what your market potential is, and then what your market penetration is, what your market share is. And we think the Ashley Outlet concept gives us growth paths, career paths for our leaders. And by the way, our outlet commission program is completely different than our Ashley Store program. And it's a pretty dynamic, pretty aggressive commission program. So you can do really well. And also we have experts in our Ashley outlets. We have $1 million memory makers in our Ashley outlets. We have repeat customers in our Ashley outlets. They perform really well for us. We encourage you to come visit them, explore them, give us feedback how we can be better, because we are always open for business, open to feedback. Feedback is a gift. And so this is just our sharing and about how we're attacking the market or addressing the market and trying to grow our business through the Ashley Outlet concept. Thank you for listening to Stories from the River, trying to bring you fresh new content every week, wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's on Google, Amazon. A lot of you I know on Spotify. I really prefer Apple. Hey, but we know a lot of people are on YouTube, so we bring this video content to you on YouTube. If you like the video, press that thumbs up button or mash subscribe. That way you'll never miss an episode. Send us feedback. Tell us how we can get better. Thanks for dialing in.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.